Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Premier Division show where we're going to review the games that happened over the course of the weekend. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider and clicking that subscribe button. We also have a Patreon service if you want to check that out. The link will be in the description and also in the comments. There's Team of the Week there every week. For example, we have a jersey giveaway, etc. coming up soon as well if you sign up by the 9th of March. Onto the video and onto the games. I'm actually going to start off with a bit of a rant of a man's with you. Shamrock Rovers and Cork City was called off today at about 5:30, 30 minutes before the game's due to kick off at 6 o'clock, and it's an absolute farcical situation in my opinion. The weather has been very poor, as we know, over the course of the last few days. Very poor today. There was a number of pitch inspections for the game today. First of all, the first one was at 11:15 actually, and the pitch was deemed playable. Now, I don't think the pitch was playable at 11:15. We'll get back to that in a minute. So they had a second pitch inspection at around 4 o'clock. Again, pitch deemed playable. With about 20 minutes before the final pitch inspection at 5:15, when it was due to start, by the way, that pitch inspection, the FAI had called that the game was definitely going to go ahead. So how do you unravel all this, I suppose? You know what I mean? How do you unravel all this? It's 3 pitch inspections in one day, lads. I'm sorry, but the pitch wasn't in great condition at 11 o'clock. There's no doubt about it. It wasn't in good condition. They've had a number of games. The game Thursday and Friday, for example, there's been a lot of rainfall Saturday. But the fact that they knew the weather warnings that were there, that there was going to be a lot more rain throughout the day, potentially and likely actually throughout the day. Now, that left the pitch in a delicate situation, that any decent probably level of rainfall probably was enough to definitely put this match to bed, let's say. If they call the game off at 11 o'clock, they take any risk out of it. There's no backlash. And people just say, look, frustrating, but at least it was called early. If you're a Cork City fan travelling up to this match, you know, and you've a good idea that, or you're told a certain authority that the game is likely to go ahead, it's very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. People plan their days around these things. Most people don't just willy-nilly drop everything just to go to a game, particularly if it involves travelling like that on a Sunday, etc., etc. But I don't understand how they have a second pitch inspection at 4 o'clock and go, yeah, it's grand. That'll be fine. We're good to go. This is 2 hours before kickoff as well. We're good to go. And then you have a further inspection at 5:15. Absolutely ridiculous carry on. Are they that thick? Like, honestly, are they that stupid? Are they that stupid? Did they not consider 11 o'clock? The pitch is not in good condition. It's in very bad condition. There's going to be a lot more rainfall today. Do you know what? Call it off. We're just going to call it off. There's going to be no risk. Think of the people travelling to the match, regardless actually if you're Cork City or Shamrock Rovers, irrespective of that. Personally, I wasn't going to go, but if I'd planned to go, even from where I am, I wouldn't have been very happy. I'm obviously not very happy anyway. But it's complete, I'm trying not to curse here, but it's amateur hour. It's complete amateur hour. Have they done this deliberately for some reason? I've no idea. Who knows? I don't know. You know, Stephen Bradley had had a few comments on the FAI during the week. Who's to say they haven't left this to the last minute because of that? We don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Although I don't think they're that clever personally either, but it wouldn't surprise me. But what are they thinking? What are they actually thinking? Call the game off at 11 o'clock. End of story. Done. You might as well if they're going to say the game is going to go ahead, you might as well have another pitch inspection at 5:45 actually. You know what I mean? What would have happened there as well, by the way, just say the game went ahead, it probably would have been abandoned after 20 minutes because the pitch would have cut up dreadfully. And if there's any rain, then end of story. But it'd be different if it was a case of, you know, you had a pitch inspection at 11 o'clock maybe and you thought, okay, maybe it's going to be okay and there's no rainfall due. Does no one check in with Maher and in these situations. You know, they literally don't give a shit, do they? Excuse my language, but they don't. They don't care, do they? They don't care. It's ridiculous. Absolutely shambolic, actually. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say on that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now back to the actual games, and Derry City had a 1-0 win against Bohemians on Friday night, and they'd be delighted with that, hitting back with a victory after such a poor performance against Shelbourne at Talca Park. Recently they've signed Kevin Holt. I was going to say Grant Holt for some reason. Kevin Holt from Dundee United, which on paper looks a superb signing. A player that played 29 times for Dundee United throughout the season, captained the side. Knack of a goal as well. Can play centre back or left back. He's 32. But they signed him for around 40k, so it's a massive sign to be able to sign a player from Dundee United. And but the win actually for Derry City, they'll take the 3 points. Was it a great performance? Probably not a great performance, but it was vital that they got the 3 points. And I think Tiernan Lynch made some important changes for this game. I don't think the two in midfield worked very well at Talca. I thought they were overran. He went back to a 3-man midfield in this game. Winchester played in there again alongside Adam Riley and Diallo. In fact, Winchester had a very good game. Probably had a bit more licence. I thought he was poor, Talca. He was very good in this game. But the 3-man midfield, I think, probably helped them out. A lot of people might have been surprised that Todd played centre-back alongside Connolly. He kept his place. Boyce was right-back. Ferguson was left-back. Maher was in goal, of course. On the left wing, Duffy continued with Dan Thomas on the right. And they went with 1 man up front this time as opposed to 2 in the opening game, with Liam Boyce playing up front on his own. Duffy started the season well on a personal note. He did well in pre-season, scoring goals. He's got 2 goals now in the space of 2 games. Scored a stunning free kick in this match. Absolutely fantastic free kick to give Derry City an early lead. And ultimately that was enough to give them the points. Bows, from their point of view, after that, probably didn't threaten enough, didn't do enough, to be honest with you, to get much out of the game. Any chances that were in the game, Derry had. Not that there were many from Derry either, but they did have some opportunities in the game. And Bows, look, they'd be a bit disappointed. Rob Cornwell went off injured at half time. Not sure what the injury is. Could have been a precaution, who knows. But they started with a different team last week. I queried whether Best might come in for Mountney, and he did at left back. But Reece Brennan played on the right hand side. Also had a Dale Rooney, which might surprise a few going into the game. Although I thought Rooney had a poor game, actually, believe it or not, at the Viva Stadium. But then, you know, I mean, he's been a fairly constant, the Bowls team. You probably wouldn't expect him to be dropped to the bench. But Brennan's a good young player, and he started. Mousse was up front again, of course, as well. The rest of the team is unchanged. Mousse still a way off in fitness levels, in my opinion. I actually think he's a long way off in fitness levels. It's a difficult one, though. Do you keep playing him from the start? Or do you bring Whelan in? It's hard to know. How do you get fit? It's by playing. But he's well off, isn't he, actually, at the moment? But they'd be disappointed with the defeat. Bows having won their opening game of the season. I think Derry City will be very, very pleased and be interested to see how they do in the next few weeks. Let me know what you think of this match in the comments. Now, at United Park, I'm sorry, I'm still calling it United Park, but at United Park, it finished Drogheda United 3, Sligo Rovers 0, and Drogheda United, superb start of the season for them. 2 clean sheets in a row. Really good performance in this game. Sligo will be disappointed. We'll get on to them in a minute. Drogheda, for their part, played the exact same team that they played in the opening game of the season against Pats, which I thought they would. But they played differently, which I thought they would. A bit more attacking in this game, a bit more front-footed. And their wing-backs, Lamb and Kane, got forward very well in this match too. At the same time, they're very solid at the back. Once again, led by Conor Keeley, I felt, who was outstanding. In midfield, I thought their 3 midfielders were brilliant, all 3 of them. Markey was the pick of the bunch, though. He managed to score a goal in this game also, but yeah, he was just excellent, Darren Markey. The goals themselves came from, the first goal was Josh Thomas on 41 minutes right before half time, and you know, it was probably a quiet enough opening into the game. Then Drogheda got a bit on top, but the ball was pulled back and Thomas just comes onto it and finishes well in 41 minutes to give them the lead. They almost scored before that as well. Sargent made actually a very, very good save for Sligo Rovers. Sligo weren't too much of a threat in the first half. In the second half, Sligo Rovers had an awful lot of possession. Didn't really look like to penetrate. Lamboto came on a bit later and got across, played across along the box where Keane Kavanagh finished, but he was offside, which was unfortunate for Sligo Rovers, but he was offside. Sligo Rovers, though, as I said, did have a lot of possession. in that spell in the game without really penetrating, and they lacked punch. They played Eldin on the right wing in this game with Fitzgerald on the left. Kavanagh was up front in the zone. Jack Doyle Hayes actually made his debut as a centre midfielder alongside Malley. Hikiki was just slightly ahead of them. Left back was Hutchison. Right back was Lintott. And in the centre were Mahan and Denham, as you'd expect. Sam Sargent, obviously, in the goal. But yeah, Drogheda United got their second goal in 74 minutes. Warren Davis does very well on the right hand side, beating the defender, cutting the ball, got his head up, cuts the ball back. Markey finishes brilliantly. And there's one thing I think Darren Markey would probably say to himself going into the season: can I score a few more goals? He was brilliant in this game, but I know he would like to score more goals for sure, absolutely. But he was there and he composed brilliant finish. Luke Keaney came on as a sub and scored in stoppage time. A brilliant finish, low driven drive into the left hand corner to give Drogheda a 3-0 win. And Sligo will be disappointed. They were disappointing against Waterford in the first half, very good in the second half, and unlucky not to get anything out of the game. But they have a lot of work to do, Sligo Rovers, and it was a fantastic win though for Drogheda United. Matchday vlog out in this, by the way, so check that one out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, at Eamon DC Park, Galway United had a superb 2-1 win against St Patrick's Athletic. I mentioned in the preview to this game that Galway hadn't beaten Pats last season. Well, they've beaten them now in their first attempt. 2 goals from that man, Mr. Hickey, on 18 and 25 minutes. Keenan 30 minutes with a superb goal. An early season goal season contender, to be honest with you as well. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But a mere consolation for Pats in many ways, that because obviously they didn't score again. But what a fantastic win for Galway United. And they continued with that 3 at the back system that I queried whether they'd play it after playing it against Cork City, but something they're obviously going to continue to work on. Clark was in goal. They had Bruder and Slevin and Cunningham in centre back. Sue was right wing back. Another superb performance by him, which yielded in him assisting Hickey for the second goal, which he crossed into the box and Hickey plants into the net with his head, of course. His first goal, by the way, Hickey, was probably a bit unlucky from a Pat's point of view, but they didn't close him down, and he takes a shot. It takes 2 deflections off Turner and Redmond, I think, before it goes into the back of the net. Not much a Nang can do there. Back to Galway selection, though. In midfield, Hurley played in this game alongside Keohane, and Keohane also set up a goal. Bobby Burns was the left wing back, of course. Asue is the right wing back, and Hickey just kind of played off Dyer and Walsh, really. For St. Patrick's point of view, interesting team selection. A bit surprising in many ways. Anang was in goal. McLaughlin played right back ahead of Axel Shelbourne, which was a bit of a surprise. But I believe Shelbourne had a bit of a knock, which is a concern because Shelbourne is obviously a very good player, but he does suffer a lot of injuries. Left back was Breslin, centre back Redmond, and notably Luke Turner. Sean Hoare was injured, and Tom Gravossi was surprisingly in the bench. All I can think of, Gravossi must have had some kind of a knock, because I can't see how Luke Turner finishes or starts ahead of Tom Gravossi. In midfield, I suppose Pats were dealt a blow at the start of the game. Lennon got injured in the warm-up, so Bagley and Palmer started in centre midfield in this game. Forrester still not quite up to fitness, apparently. Mulroney on the left, Elbozetti on the right, Kavanagh as a 10 and Keane up front. So, a bit messy for Pats. I think Lennon's a big loss in this type of game, where you need to battle and get results and roll up the sleeves. They probably lacked that in midfield with Lennon missing, and Pats will be disappointed with their start and their defeat in this game. Very sloppy at times. We know they can play good football, but I think if you're going to have to win a league, and I'll talk about Shelbourne later because they did it on the night as well, you're going to have to grind out results to win this league. There's no two ways about it. You can't play well for 36 games a season. You're going to have to get results by being ordinary, if you like, but really digging in. And Pats, they still can do that. It's only 2 games gone, but they're going to have to prove that for me if they're going to win this league. They're definitely going to have to do that. So they'll be disappointed. I'll just talk about Keenan's goal for a minute. What a goal. What a goal. There's nothing anyone can do there from Galway's perspective. Nothing wrong there. You can always stop a cross, etc., etc. It's not even a good cross by Mulroney. Keenan makes the best out of it, takes it, swivels on his left foot, and what a finish. What a clean finish. But unfortunately for Pats, Clark made some good saves in the game, to be fair. Pats couldn't get an equaliser. Brendan Clark was called upon a few times, but overall I think Galway United deserved the 3 points in this game, and Hickey started the season brilliantly, top scorer now. at the moment with 3 goals. Very, very good player. And it's not just he's big and he's good in the air, but he is a good player as well. Sometimes, we can forget about that, like with certain players. You think, oh, he's big, he's physical. Galway are big and physical generally. But very, very good player coming from Athlone Town there last year, and he looks like he's improving too. Massive win for Galway United and a good start to the season. I did say they'd be disappointed with the performance in Cork, but they'd be delighted to got a point. The point looks better now, doesn't it, for them now that they've managed to get the 3 points against St. Patrick's League 2. And look, Galway, are going to be, you never know where they'd be in the table, but they're going to be nowhere near relegation. And I say that when the teams at the bottom are going to be quite strong too. But they're going to be a hassle for anyone this season. And be interesting to see how some of the players settle in, like Dyer, etc., as the season goes on. There's a couple of players now that could come into the fold as well. So, superb performance by Galway United and a superb victory. Disappointing for Pats. Probably too many changes in their team as well. Maybe they were forced, I get that. But they'll want to get their best 11 out on the pitch as soon as possible, I think. But great win for Galway United. Now, finally, at the RSC, finished Waterford FC 0, Shelbourne 1. And this was your good old-fashioned, typical Shelbourne, rolling up their sleeves, grinding out a result win. Not too many chances in the game. Meepo scored the goal on 14 minutes after Sean Boyd set him up. And their partnership has flourished early on in the season, isn't it, to be fair? And that was enough to win the game. Shelbourne didn't give much away in the game, played as a team unit, and they played brilliantly, I thought, last week against Derry City. But this is the other side of them, and this is what I was talking about in regards to Pats, that they have to prove they can win games like this as well. Shelbourne can, and they did the other night. A superb result for Shelbourne to go and win the game, even though the performance may not have been brilliant. Their team, pardon me, was the exact same as it was last week, basically. There were no changes to the team that played last week. Norris did make his debut, but he came on as a sub in the game. And, they were comfortable, solid defensively, comfortable, got the goal, got the job done. It's as simple as that. And there's not much more you can say about Shelbourne, really, in that regard on this particular performance. 3 points, the only team after 2 games on 6 points, which isn't a surprise, considering we know how competitive this league is, that only one team has won the first 2 games. But no surprise, it's Shelbourne, I guess. For Waterford, they'll be disappointed, I think. They'll be disappointed probably with the goal they give away as well, being honest with you. McMenemy came into the team for this game. Darry Leahy actually came in as well, and he played left centre-back. So their system was the same, and the rest of their team was the same, etc. Just a word on Ryan Burke's red card. It was an awful challenge, wasn't it? Awful challenge. I don't know. I still don't think it was deliberate, but it's obviously a red card. He loses the ball, and he loses control of the ball, and he just jumps in. It's a terrible challenge. It could have been a leg breaker. I don't think he meant to hurt the player. I think he simply just lost the ball and panicked, and completely panicked, really. It's a definite red card, by the way. 100% a red card. It's high and it's dangerous, but I don't think he meant to actually hurt the player. As I said, he's lost the ball in that situation. But yeah, Waterford, look, I think they'll be happy enough with 3 points after 2 games, to be honest with you. I still think they've problems in their defence, as I mentioned previously before. It doesn't quite sit well with me, their defence overall, personally. McDonald played in this game. There were rumours that he might have been out. Obviously, McCormick didn't play, and McMenemy came in as well. But yeah, disappointing result, I suppose, for Waterford. Just, Shelbourne just, I suppose, did a job on them, let's say. And I suppose Waterford won't be the last team that Shelbourne do a job on this season. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me your thoughts on any of the games. What games were you at? Who impressed you at the weekend? Your thoughts on Shamrock Rovers and Cork City. And we leave it there.